Welcome to the thrilling world of Filmoro. Today we're diving into the mysterious and chilling movie Weapons. The story begins in an elementary school in Maybrook. It's just another Wednesday morning, a normal day for classes. Until the new teacher, Ms. Justine Gundy, walks into her classroom. To her shock, only one student is there, a boy named Alex. All the other classes in the school are full of children, but in her class, 17 students are missing. Parents are devastated, furious, demanding answers. The police soon uncover a terrifying truth. Every single one of those children woke up at exactly 2:17 a.m. They opened their front doors, stepped into the darkness, and vanished into the night. Silently. All of them heading towards some unknown destination. And none of them ever returned. The alarms of their houses had gone off at that exact hour. Some home cameras had even captured images of the kids leaving. The police questioned Alex again and again, desperate to know if the children had planned this as some kind of secret pact, or if they'd been influenced by a TV show or something darker. But Alex said he knew nothing. If there had been a plan, he wasn't part of it. They interrogated Ms. Gundy too, but she also insisted she had no idea what happened. Because of the tragedy, the entire school shut down for a month. When it finally reopened, the night before classes resumed, a special meeting was held with counselors and grieving families, meant to help them control their emotions and process the loss. As the counselors spoke gently about grief, about how sadness and anger are natural parts of mourning, and how abandonment makes that anger burn even stronger. Suddenly, one of the fathers snapped. Archer, whose son was among the missing, stood up and shouted in fury, "There's no way I can accept this!" 17 kids vanish at the exact same time. This isn't about abandonment. I want to know why every single one was from Miss Gundy's class. What happened in that classroom? What did she say to make them all run into the night together? Ms. Gundy needs to talk, and at that moment, the camera shifts. Now the story continues through the eyes of Ms. Gundy herself. Her version of the night the children disappeared. And this is where we begin to piece together the fragments of the puzzle to uncover what really happened. Ms. Gundy said she was truly sorry about everything and that it was better for her to stay quiet. But the parents, all of them, blamed her. They believed she knew something and wasn't telling. The school principal, terrified that the angry parents might hurt her, quickly escorted Ms. Gundy out of the meeting, warning her not to show her face around for a while. Gundy went to a store and bought 2 bottles of drink, hoping to drown some of her pain. But the phone kept ringing with threatening calls from unknown voices. When she finally reached home, the doorbell rang. She opened it with fear, only to find no one there. But on her car, written in red paint, was a single word: witch. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't wipe it off. The next morning, she went back to school. But once again the principal told her not to return, not until the parents had calmed down. Gundy desperately wanted to talk to Alex, but the principal refused. "Alex has been through enough. Leave him alone." Frustrated, she went to the police station and reported everything that had happened the night before. There she saw her ex-boyfriend, Paul. She messaged him, asking to meet at a bar. That night Paul showed up looking broken. But instead of ordering a drink, he asked for a Coke. Gundy confessed, "Everyone thinks I'm a witch." Paul looked at her and said, "Why do you always think the whole world is against you? You always act like everyone's your enemy." She asked, "Does your wife know you're here?" Paul admitted, "Things with my wife haven't been good lately." Hearing this, Gundy's eyes lit up. That night, they slept together. The next morning, Gundy drove him home and reminded him to take the missing children's case more seriously. After that, Gundy began following Alex. She rang the doorbell at his house, but no one answered. She walked around and noticed all the windows were covered with newspapers. Through a small gap, she suddenly saw a man and a woman sitting on the couch in complete darkness, staring at one fixed point. The house looked strangely suspicious. The principal called her in panic. "I told you not to go near that house. Stay away." But Gundy insisted the house was suspicious. The principal kept repeating, "Stay away from that house." Later, as Gundy entered a shop, Paul's wife appeared. She shoved Gundy to the ground, yelling, "How dare you get him drunk and sleep with him? He only wanted to calm you down. What kind of person are you?" That night, Gundy dreamed of her class. All the children were resting their heads on their desks. And Alex, with a sinister smile, looked at her like a witch. When she woke up in terror, she saw something on her ceiling. A witch staring down at her. She screamed, but in an instant, it was gone. Still obsessed, Gundy went back to Alex. She tried to start a conversation, but Alex only said, "I have to go. Stop following me." But Gundy refused to give up. She knocked on his door again, but no one answered. So she sat in her car, watching the house, determined to uncover the truth. At some point she fell asleep in the driver's seat. And someone comes out of the house, snips off a lock of Gundy's hair with scissors, and takes it away. Here, the narrative shifts. The camera now follows Archer, the father of one of the missing children. Since his son vanished, Archer has been falling apart. Every single morning before leaving for work, he replays the footage of his son running away from home, hoping to catch some hidden clue he might have missed. But even at work, he can't focus. His entire mind is consumed by the disappearance of his child. After work, Archer goes straight to the police, desperate for new information. But the officers have nothing. He insists, "You need to arrest Gundy. She's behind all of this." The police reply coldly, "The kids left the house on their own. No one forced them. We have no evidence to arrest Gundy." That night, Archer attends a school meeting and claims the teacher is behind everything. After the meeting, he secretly follows Gundy. With cans of paint hidden in his car, he vandalizes her vehicle in rage. Later that night, back at home, he once again replays the video of his son leaving. Exhausted, he finally falls asleep. In his dream, the clock strikes 2:17 a.m. He sees his son, Matthew, rushing out of the house in panic. Archer chases after him all the way to a strange, ominous house. Suddenly, above the roof, a giant weapon appears. An ominous gun glowing with the inscription, 217. Archer steps inside. The house is pitch black. He climbs the stairs and finds Matthew lying on a bed. Tears fill his eyes as he whispers, "I'm sorry I never told you how much you mean to me. You're everything to me, but I never said it while you were here." And then, out of the darkness, the witch appears, smiling eerily. Archer wakes up in terror, his heart pounding. It's as if a light has switched on inside his head. He pulls out a map of the neighborhood. On it, he marks his own house, then the radio tower, and draws a line between them. Something about the connection feels significant. Then he goes to the father of another missing child, watches the video of that child's disappearance, carefully notes the direction the child moved, and marks the path on the map again. On the way, he suddenly spots Gundy's car and decides to confront her. As he's arguing with Gundy, Marcus, the school principal, appears, disheveled and bloodied, rushing toward Gundy and starting to strangle her. Archer tries his best to stop him, but Marcus seems to have only one goal: to kill Gundy. The narrative shifts once again. The next missing piece of the puzzle is Paul, Gundy's ex-boyfriend. Paul is on the phone with his wife, who's away on a short work trip. She reminds him, "Don't drink until Friday when I get back. It's my ovulation day. We'll settle this once and for all." Later, Paul visits his father-in-law, who also happens to be his boss, and tells him that he and his wife will attend their upcoming anniversary celebration. Afterwards, Paul heads into the city, patrolling in his police car. He spots a drug addict climbing over the wall of someone's house. The moment the addict notices the police, he bolts. Paul chases him down and finally catches him. When Paul begins searching the man's pockets, he warns him, "Nothing sharp in there, right?" The addict answers, "No." But as Paul digs through, his hand is pierced by a used syringe. Furious, Paul slams the man's head hard against the ground, then rushes back into his car, dousing his hand with alcohol, terrified the needle might have been infected. Then he notices something chilling. The police dashcam has recorded everything. Panicked, he shuts the camera off immediately. Looking at the addict, he snarls, "We both made a mistake. I'll let you go, but if I ever see you again, things will end differently." Paul later reports the incident to his father-in-law at the station. His boss warns him, "If that kid doesn't file a complaint within a month, the footage will auto-delete. But if he does, you're in serious trouble. And you'd better get that hand checked by a doctor." Shaken, Paul drives off, only to receive a message from Gundy. She wants to meet. That night they see each other, and he ends up sleeping with her. But the next morning, when Paul returns home, his world collapses. His wife has come back early from her trip. She stares at him and asks, "Where were you?" His dazed, hungover expression says it all. She realizes instantly, he's betrayed her. Devastated, Paul drags himself to work. And there, to his horror, he spots the very same addict approaching the police station. Rage explodes inside him. He shouts, "What the hell are you doing here?" and charges after him with unrestrained fury. The next missing piece of the puzzle is James, the same addict Paul had chased earlier. The camera shows James, who lives in a tent in the forest, using drugs and surviving through theft. While he is climbing over the wall of a house, Paul spots him and chases after him. After striking him on the head, Paul tells him not to show up again. But on his way back, James couldn't resist another burglary. He scaled the wall of a house and slipped inside. This was Alex's house. The place was eerie, messy, chaotic, unsettling. As James searched for something valuable, he suddenly noticed a man and woman sitting silently, their eyes glued to a glowing television. Terrified, he tried speaking to them, but they didn't move, didn't even blink. So he continued looting, stuffing cutlery into his bag. Then curiosity pulled him toward the basement. He crept down the stairs, only to freeze in horror. In the pitch-black shadows, a group of children stared back at him. Panicked, James bolted from the house, clutching the stolen silverware. He goes to sell the spoons and forks, only to see on the wall that a $50,000 reward has been offered for finding the missing children. James rushed toward the police station to claim the prize, but at that very moment Paul spotted him. He flees and heads toward the forest, when suddenly he sees a witch waving at him. Thinking he's hallucinating from drugs, he enters his tent, but notices a shadow in front of it. Terrified, he grabs his syringes. At that moment, the tent zipper opens and he throws the syringes in panic, hitting Paul in the face. Furious, Paul aims his gun at James, who, terrified, says, "I know where the missing children are, and I came to tell the police. To make you believe me, I'll take you there." When Paul enters Alex's house, he disappears until night. James, who had been waiting for Paul in the police car, sees him rushing toward him and knocks him down to take him to the house. Once again, the narrative shifts. This time, the camera follows Marcus, the school principal. Marcus is at a store with his boyfriend when he receives a call from Gundy. He warns her, "You shouldn't have gone near Alex." But Gundy insists, "You need to inform Child Protective Services. Alex's home environment isn't safe." Marcus hesitates. "I'll first talk to Alex's parents at school. Then I'll decide whether to report it or not." But instead of Alex's parents, a strange old woman with fiery red hair enters his office. "I'm Gladys," she says, "Alex's aunt. His parents have been unwell and need rest. I've come to care for him." Marcus explains he's received troubling reports about Alex's living conditions. Before notifying the authorities, he insists on visiting their home. Later that evening, Marcus and his boyfriend are watching television when there's a frantic knock at the door. Gladys bursts in, breathing heavily. "About what we discussed at school. I need to tell you something," she mutters before faking a coughing fit. Then, oddly, she demands, "Bring me water, but not in a glass." In a bowl, confused, Marcus complies. Gladys then assures him, "Tomorrow Alex's father will come to school and settle everything. I just need to know. You haven't reported anything yet, have you?" At that moment she pulls a stick from her bag, wraps a ribbon belonging to Marcus around it, and scratches her own hand with it. Then she goes to Marcus's boyfriend and cuts a lock of his hair with scissors. Seeing this, Marcus tries to call the police, but Gladys pulls a small bell from her bag, wraps the cut hair around the same stick, and then breaks the stick. Marcus becomes possessed and starts attacking his boyfriend, hitting him so violently that he kills him. When Gladys drops the stick into a bowl of water, Marcus stops. This time Gladys takes the previous hair, wraps Gundy's hair around the stick, and breaks it again. Once again, Marcus rushes toward Gundy and finds him at the gas pump, about to strangle him. Archer intervenes, allowing Gundy to get into his car and escape, with Marcus hot on his heels. Archer follows them, when suddenly a car collides with Marcus, killing him. Archer and Gundy head to the clinic. Gundy tells him that Marcus was completely unhinged, something she had never seen before. But Archer explains that Marcus was just like the children who had been fleeing their homes. They all moved with the same relentless purpose, almost like weapons aimed at a specific target. Marcus too was moving like a weapon, set on killing. Archer then shows Gundy a map of the area and says that the children were moving toward this zone. Gundy, shocked, realizes that the zone he's pointing to is exactly where Alex's house is. Now we come to the final piece of the puzzle. Alex. After school, Alex's father picks him up, and on the way he tells him that his mother's sister will be staying with them for a few days because of her illness. Alex, who really hates having anyone in the house for too long, isn't happy about it. His mother says, "If my mother were alive, she would have taken care of her sister. Since she's not, I'll do it." And Gladys moves into their home. The next morning, on the way to school, Alex's father tells him that Aunt Gladys is in very bad shape and doesn't have much time left. But after school, no matter how long Alex waits, his father never comes. He finally walks home by himself, only to find his parents staring at each other like statues. Gladys walks up to him. Alex, frightened, asks what happened to his parents. He pours a glass of water on his father's face, but to his horror, his father doesn't react at all. With anger in her voice, Gladys snaps, "There's no dinner tonight. Go to your room." The next morning, Gladys tells Alex, "When you go to school, don't you dare tell anyone about me or what happened to your parents." Then she grabs a stick, scratches her own hand, wraps some of Alex's parents' hair around it, and snaps the stick in two. Right away, Alex's parents start clawing at their own faces with forks. Horrified, Alex freezes. Gladys calls his name, drops the stick into a bowl of water, and suddenly his parents stop. She looks him dead in the eye and says, "If you ever break your promise, I'll make your parents kill themselves, hurt each other, or even eat each other alive." Alex is terrified. From now on, to keep his parents alive, he has no choice but to feed them canned food. One night, when Gladys is looking really sick, Alex goes to check on her. She tells him, "I thought what I did to your parents would make me feel better, but it didn't. Tomorrow at school, I need you to secretly bring me something from each of your classmates." Alex, confused and scared, asks, "What does that have to do with making you better?" Gladys answers, "It might be the only cure for me. If it works, I'll leave this house." Hoping to get rid of her as soon as possible, Alex sneaks around at school, collects the stuff she asked for, and stuffs it all into his backpack for her. That night, at midnight, Gladys throws all the kids' belongings into the water bowl, lights a match, and shakes the bell. Suddenly, every kid bolts upright in their beds, panicked, and runs straight toward Alex's house. The next day, Alex was the only kid who showed up in Ms. Gundy's class. The cops questioned him, but Gladys stepped in, pretending to be his guardian. She told them Alex's dad had a stroke and couldn't talk anymore. Back at home, Gladys forced Alex to clean the place up, and even switched the kids' spots around, since some investigators were coming to check the house that day. She made everything look perfectly normal. Meanwhile, Alex had to keep buying tons of canned food. Not just for his parents now, but for all his classmates too. That afternoon when Alex got back from school, he saw a cop standing still inside the house. Gladys told him, "Pack your stuff. Tomorrow we're leaving. And watch your step. Don't set foot on the salt I spread on the ground." At the same time, Archer and Ms. Gundy were spying on Alex's house from a distance. Suddenly, Paul walked out, signaling for Gundy to come inside. Suspicious, Gundy and Archer entered the house. As soon as Gundy and Archer stepped on the salt line, James and Paul went completely feral, charging at them like weapons fired straight out of a gun. Paul pinned Gundy down, choking her with all his strength. In a panic, she yanked his gun from his pocket and fired, killing him on the spot. Then she ran to help Archer, who was locked in a brutal fight with James. In the middle of the struggle, Archer stumbled into the basement, and there he saw all the missing kids. Without wasting a second, Gundy shot James too, dropping him cold. Meanwhile, Alex ignored what Gladys had warned him about, and stepped onto the salt. That's when his parents turned savage, lunging at him, ready to kill their own son. Alex gathered every ounce of strength he had just to escape them. But since they were fully possessed, they smashed through doors, desperate to catch him. Down in the basement, Gladys managed to take control of Archer as well, forcing him to attack Gundy. Alex, who had been watching everything Gladys did all along, finally made his move. He grabbed one of her wooden sticks, cut his hand, smeared his blood on it, then wrapped Gladys's wig around the stick, and snapped it in half. Suddenly, all the kids turned on Gladys, sprinting toward her in a frenzy. She tried to run for her life, but they caught her and tore her to pieces. With Gladys dead, everyone she had possessed finally stopped moving. But Alex's parents never recovered. They were taken to a care facility for the rest of their lives, while Alex left town and went to live with one of his kind, loving aunts. As for the other kids, they returned to their families. Some of them even found their voices again, and finally got to go back to school. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to hit that like button. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe right now, so you never miss the next movie recap. I've got 6 playlists from different genres, and I add new movies every single month. You can see them right here on the end screen. Hit subscribe first, then pick a playlist, and keep the adventure going.